Welcome back to the Healthy Chicago podcast, where local health professionals and their guests discuss the latest public health issues affecting Chicagoans.
Hi, we are back with another Healthy Chicago podcast. My name is Alisha Warren. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and assistant commissioner of mental health at Chicago Department of Public Health. And I'm really excited to be here today to talk with you all about our Healing Arts Chicago program that we piloted earlier this year, although we've been working on it for far beyond this year. And I am joined by two really incredible guests, Hale and Shannon Harris, that are both artist apprentice in our Inglewood Mental Health Clinic. And they are here to talk about the work that they've been doing in our Inglewood Mental Health Clinic, the work that they've been doing as community health workers, and just to have a really great conversation about the healing power of arts. How this program got started was in partnership with the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events and the Chicago Department of Public Health. And so we partnered with DCASE about a year and a half ago now, where we really started envisioning what would it be like to bring a healing arts program that is also based on workforce development in our mental health clinics. In the last few years, we have seen a really significant shift in mental health as a result of COVID. And as a result of that, we really want to be thinking about how do we better support our workforce, our behavioral health workforce? How do we make more holistic, healing-centered programs that are based out of our mental health clinics and think about mental health as a holistic person, and treating the person as not just a clinical issue and focused on just their mental health, but really thinking about what does healing look like, and how do we receive feedback from people that are in our mental health clinics to really inform what programming could look like. So One Nation, One Project is a national campaign. Arts is for Everybody is their national campaign that is really a bold and audacious campaign focused on bringing arts into health spaces across the country. And so they have 18 different sites, and we are very honored to be one of those sites. Where we're really looking at the healing power of arts. There's a research component, but really the big thing is bringing together these 18 different sites across the country to have one cumulative event where we celebrate arts and healing on July 27th of 2024. So we will get into a little bit more of that. Hopefully we'll be able to have people join us on our big event on July 27th. We're really looking forward to it. But I really want to talk to our amazing artists today about the work that they've been doing in the clinic and the work that they've been doing as community health workers and what this program has meant to them and what they've seen in the clinic that they're in. So I want to just give you both a minute to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about kind of how you came to be a partner with us at CDPH and working in our mental health clinics.
Hello, my name is Jewel. I am a program coordinator for a nonprofit in the city called Lit Feelings, and that focus is on literacy, creative expression, and wellness. So it's really about leveraging the limitless power of art to help build healthy communities. So that's one thing that One Nation, One Project is really looking into doing and exploring and pretty much executing throughout this whole 18-city July 27th deal. How I came about through the program is that, like I said, I've been working for a nonprofit. I've been a youth development specialist for about 8 years, working with the youth in creating various programs that centered around interdisciplinary arts and social emotional learning. I saw this on the website for DCASE and thought, wow, they just made a job description that fits exactly what I do. So that's how I came about and how I fell into this, because I've been doing this for years. I have an MA in interdisciplinary arts, I have a BA in theater studies, and I have my MS in curriculum and instruction.
Jewel, can you maybe tell us a little bit about what social emotional learning is? Because that was something that I think really stood out about you throughout the process, and what I think is really, we look forward to increasing our youth population at the Inglewood Clinic, and why I think that you were such a great fit for that clinic. Can you maybe talk to people a little bit about what social emotional learning is?
Absolutely. Social emotional learning is the process in which people interact throughout their day-to-day. So whether that be responsible decision making, social skills, what is it called? So it's five core competencies of social emotional learning, and I get that from the Collaborative for Academic and Social Emotional Learning, which is called CASEL, and they have these 5 core competencies, and each one represents a skill or a component that you need in order to interact successfully in your day-to-day life. So the first one being self-awareness, self-management, social skills, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. So it's really about exploring all of those different components to let children, or just people in general, be the best versions of themselves that they could be.
Great, thank you so much. Shannon, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you came to be an artist apprentice at our Inglewood Mental Health Clinic?
Sure. My name is Shannon Harris. I consider myself a Chicago-born Renaissance man from the Chicago South Side. I have 30 years in IT and multidisciplinary arts, and for the last 20 years I have shifted over into the wellness sector with my protocols they're trademark protocols called audio pharmacology. Another one's called frequency as a pharmacy. And the one that was created during COVID is a quality of life consultancy called Self-Care Laboratories. So through that protocol, I teach people the art of being. And I allow them to choose. Do you want to be well? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be peaceful? What is that decision, that you want to make? And I use different arts and sciences, Qigong being one of them, traditional Chinese medicine. For those who are not familiar with what Qigong is, you probably heard of Tai Chi, or you probably heard of Kung Fu. So there's 4 pillars of Qigong. There's martial, that's where the Kung Fu comes in. There's medical, that's what I practiced. And then there's scholarly and there's spiritual. So once you master all 4, and these are what you see the Shaolin masters do, then you become, they don't like to say a master because there's no belt system, but you become there's a level of self-mastery. So how I got introduced to the program is, since I've been doing this wellness thing in the communities, and I've worked at several school districts and with the city park districts and the Forest Preserve, when the offer came up, somebody sent it to me and was like, this is you, because I had this residency at Elastic Arts, and I chose to use the whole year to do what was called Evolution, the healing arts movement. So I built out these sound beds and a sound stage. And when I'm talking about a sound stage, I'm not talking about music. I'm talking about a bed that does therapy. And then we did these science labs where I created these, what's called cymatics. So we're putting water and we're putting sand, and we're showing you how sound moves these things and how that sound is moving the water and the minerals in your body. So through that's made people like, no, you need to go out for this. Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to me, before you both came on board and we went through the process of of applications and interviews and seeing, how do we pick the right mix of people to be in the clinics that have the right, have a mix of disciplines, right? You guys are coming from 2 pretty different backgrounds. You're based out of the same clinic, but wanting to make sure that we're responsive to the needs of the community that we're in, but also are really thinking about healing in a really expansive way, right? Because there is healing through social emotional learning, there is healing through sound healing, and it's so interesting because as you're talking about therapy, Shannon, as a clinician, I think about therapy in a different way, right? But it's all therapeutic. And I think this is something that we really saw a big appetite for. We had a lot of applicants come out, a lot of artists that were really interested in doing this work, and a really big appetite for us in the clinics to reimagine and rethink about mental health healing and what does treating a whole person look like. And so I was really excited about this partnership. and just kind of like the movement that we're making in the mental health clinics about moving towards more holistic healing. Shannon, maybe you can talk a little bit about kind of the workshops that you've been doing in the last few months and what you've seen as like some successes and what do you think are some challenges?
Yes. So I have put together 2 workshops. One I do twice every quarter. We call them phases, so they're seasonal. And then one that I'm rolling out for the entire year. I'll start with the one that's being rolled out for an entire year. It's called Monday Midday Reset, Audio Pharmacology Sound Spa. So it's been taken off. It's been taken off really well. So there's always attendees. There's what I like about it is you can see the intergenerational healing that's coming through through the center now, because families are coming. The children are telling their parents, then the grandparents, the grandchildren. So I've met people's whole bloodlines who had time to come to the center. Like I just met another auntie yesterday. Like now they're bringing sisters and things like that. So what does that look like? Because I know that sounds like audio pharmacology sound spa. What is that? So it's a 2-hour experience where the first hour, we come in, we do a meet and greet, and I totally convert the space. So this space takes hours to set up. So there's an aroma therapy, there's a light therapy component, there's a sound therapy component. So you feel like when you come down into that basement that you're walking into some forest or on some beach, right? And then it always smells. When people come just through the glass doors, they, man, it smells great up in here. And then I'm also working on the air quality levels in there. So because a lot of the work that we do deals with breath practice, and it's in a basement, so there's no windows and things like that. So, but you walk back, and then I have these beautiful signs of people like in relaxation postures, and it's telling you, keep going this way, and you can just hear the music, and it gets louder and louder as you approach. And then you enter the first room, and it has the nomenclature of, the practices. So it's a quiet zone, turn your phones off, and etc. And then we go through a facilitation. So the facilitation is based upon a holistic approach with the 8 pillars of wellness. It goes through a system called Ikagai, which is the reason for being. But then most importantly, it gives the pathways to wellness. So I'm bringing language, and well, it's not we are bringing language, because that's what we're doing, to what mental illness is, what physical illness is, and what wellness is. And then we are identifying the gaps and the approaches. And then from there, they're given tools, and then I do what I call play shops. So I take those tools and we team up and pair up, and we actually validate, quantify, and qualify those tools with certain vital readings and things, so they can have trust in what I'm offering. They can have trust in the tools, but most importantly, I like people to have trust in themselves. So when a person sees that they use this tool correctly and the result is indicating that, so they're like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. This thing is, I don't know what it is, but I actually did it. It worked. Yep. So from there, we move on to the second hour, which is the audio pharmacology sound spa. So it's a super dark space. Has light therapy, it has all those other things going on, but it has zero gravity chairs, so people get to pick their zero gravity chairs. And I have custom tuned brain science programs that helps with brain cognition, it helps with meditation, it helps with sleep, and etc. So in that space, they're participating in a rest, relaxation, and restoration process. So that's the sound spa on Mondays.
Can I ask you really quick there? So if somebody were to come and experience the sound spa, the Monday midday reset on Mondays with you, would they leave feeling more relaxed? Is there like an immediate sense of relaxation that people would feel?
Oh yeah, I can show you some results if you want.
Always coming with the receipts.
So I took, because I said I do wellness research, right? So I'm querying So these are pictures of what that looks like. So you can see the communities there. But some of the questions I asked, what were the experiences, what did you like, and things like that. I'll tell you one great thing that happened just yesterday. We had one person who would come, and their heart rate and pulse rate was super high. It's higher than what you would, if you were running in a marathon, when it's over 140, 150, you have to go to the ER. It's much higher than that.
Yeah.
So I created a different program for that person, and I was like, I hope they show up because I'm going to see if this thing works.
Yeah.
So yesterday, their pulse rate was 200 and something and resting.
Ooh.
So for those who don't know what that sounds like, for different ages, pulse rates vary, but that person's age should be between 60 and 70. It was 200 and something. So they sat in the spa for 1 minute with that new Delta Wave program I created, and I dropped their pulse rate down to 86 in 1 minute.
Wow.
In 5 minutes, it went down to 81, and when they were finished, it went down to 75.
Wow.
So that's how people are feeling. They're feeling restored, and the science is backing it up, but then they also are walking out like, the eyes are, then I gotta go to the bathroom. They get lost, you can't, so yeah. And these are some of the results you'll see from, I'll just leave it here and you can just read through them.
Yeah.
Just what people are saying about the experiences, and the takeaways is very important. They're learning about, breath, they're learning about sound science, they're learning about meditation, nutrition, and things like that, so.
I love that. I love the connection to, both the mental health and the physical health, because that's something that you just touched on, right? I'm a polyvagal informed therapist. And so what that means, polyvagal theory is really the study on our heart rate variability, saying that when we're in unsafe zones, whether that's emotionally or physically, our heart rate can raise in certain instances. But there are also instances where we're in that freeze response where it actually drops, right? And so I love that, you're using the science, you're using what's actually happening in the body and in heart rate in the autonomic nervous system, because we're trying to bring that into therapy more as well. And so I think that this is such a great alignment to see you in this mental health space and the work that you're doing. I'm so excited about. I hope that there's more and more people that come, because in fact, I need to go check it out. Because I am definitely going to come check it out, because it sounds really incredible, and who couldn't use a relaxing Monday midday reset?
Yes.
I love that. Another thing you said that was really important, I think, is that we are creating this space, right? And that's a really important way that we're thinking about this, and why I think this is such a pivotal time for us, is because it's not mental health and health, we know disparities cannot be addressed by any one person or any one entity. It really takes a village. And so I love that you're thinking about that. I think that that's how this whole program got started, is because at CDPH, we really thought about, we can't keep doing this work alone. We have to think about how, as the city, we are well positioned, and as the public health department, we're well positioned to partner with other people, other departments, other city entities, to really bring in more holistic healing and think about this in partnership. And that's such a big thing. So I'm really glad that you touched on that, because that's such an important piece as we think about healing.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Yeah. Jewel, I would love to hear from you about some of the successes that you're having and all the work that you're doing at Inglewood.
Absolutely. So I'm currently running a program called Brush Strokes and Breath Work, and it is an arts-based mindfulness approach. That's how I approach all of my work, which is basically fusing mindfulness with the creative process. Currently, from 2 to 4 p.m., we are meeting on Tuesdays every week. This session is strictly about taking things from the natural world and utilizing that as art material. So this week we'll be doing terracotta pots, which translates into baked earth. So I'm really excited about that. I love being in the Inglewood community. The clients there are very warm and understanding, along with the clinicians. I think that was my favorite part about doing this work, is being able to meet with clinicians like yourself to discuss like what really is the needs of this particular community and the needs and wants of the people in Chicago. So for all Chicagoans. So I'm really excited about doing this work. I think for me, as someone who dabbles in the medium of painting, being in a space where the ventilation is a little bit poor can be challenging. So finding crafts projects to, respect the sanctity of the space and, make sure that everyone is in there not dying, suffocating from the fumes, right? Like the fumes, like, I can't use this adhesive spray. we're all gonna pass away. But I'm really excited about the work that we're doing. I love the fact that I get to work with Shannon. We talk a lot, and we meet and discuss the general needs of the area. We have programs coming up together in collaboration, so I'm really excited for us to roll that out. And thank you.
That's awesome. Can you guys talk a little bit about what you're going to be collaborating on, or are you still baking it?
We're still baking it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because it's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I know it. I know that.
I am so excited. We are so excited about this. We talked about it last Tuesday, or was it Wednesday?
I believe it was a Wednesday.
Yeah, and we were just like powwow, like we were pinging off of each other, like, ooh, and if we add this in, and because it's getting hotter, so we want to bring something out. So we believe in going out to bring in. So we're trying to do community outreach right now to just bring in more people to the Inglewood Mental Health Center and the health center in general.
Great. Yeah, you know what? When I first came on board with the city, one of my most favorite things about the Inglewood Mental Health Center in particular is that they would use kind of that back space. There's like a little yard space in the back, like to the side of the parking lot, and they would have barbecues all the time. And I always show up for a barbecue. So I think if there's that space to be doing that outside, bringing food, talking to the clinicians and seeing like how can we make this event as, or this, if it's going to be something that you do regularly. I'm not sure because you guys are just teasing us about it right now. But that's all right. People can stay tuned, right? What is the best way to find out once you guys have this kind of formulated? What's the best way for people to find out about it?
Well, that's everything is loaded to Healing Arts Chicago. So if you Google Healing Arts Chicago, and I believe healingartschicago.org, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's there. It will have the programs for all 5 centers.
Great.
Because Inglewood E and the alphabet is, before the other centers, Jewel have her program, and then I'll have my program at the top of the list, and then you can go through all the other lists. But yeah, the healingartschicago.org, you can find all the programming.
That's great. Okay, so just Google Healing Arts Chicago. People can find out about what you all are doing right now at Inglewood, this really exciting thing that you have in the works, which I'm excited to hear more about, but also the additional programming we have at the other 4 sites, because that is something I think that's really interesting is you all have 8 other artists that you're working with in this cohort, right? Mm-hmm. And I think tomorrow's a pretty special day for everybody, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You don't know what it is?
What is it?
It's the pinning ceremony.
Oh. So many different things because we still have class in the morning.
Oh,
so,
okay.
It's the pinning ceremony, but it's still not over for us. So
okay.
It's not officially, the community health worker program isn't officially over for the DCASE artists until June.
Oh,
so that's why I'm like, what's tomorrow? Oh, right. Class and then the pinning ceremony. So,
Okay. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the community health worker certification process? I know you guys have been in class since last August or September, right? September, you've been taking classes. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow is this really exciting pinning ceremony for you all, even if you didn't remember.
Charging to my head and not to my heart.
No,
so many meetings and
and like you said, the classes are still gonna go on. But can maybe you tell me a little bit about what that process has been like and being in those classes?
You want to go first? You want me to go? Either or.
You can go. Go ahead.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. So for me, it was a really interesting process to understand what a community health worker actually was, and to understand that I've been a community health worker for a really long time. So it's just, I didn't know that was what we were classifying it as of right now in the United States, in Illinois, in Chicago itself. So what I've learned is that a community health worker is really an umbrella term that describes a public health or social service worker who, is connected to the community, who serves the community by promoting and advocating for people's healthy behaviors. Yep. So this program is really, I think the most interesting thing about this program is having to interact and be in like close proximity with people who are not artists. So what we understand from the Community Health Worker Certification Program is that you will be interacting with people outside of the DCASE cohort. So I was under the assumption that we'll just be together and not I didn't understand that it's everyone else too. So it's really nice to see other people being brought in and just piggybacking off of what they have to offer and their thoughts and their ideas and their lived experiences as people coming into the program who also identify as community health workers.
Yeah. Shannon, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience as a community health worker?
It's just like her. I've been doing community health work for so long. I heard of the term, but I didn't know it was organized as such. Mm-hmm. So, what I really like about the field is I guess they have these bylaws. I went to this thing at Rush Hospital for research. It was a part of the program. I wanted to get some extra credit points, and I like research, so that's just a win-win. But then they put this slide up, and they're like, to be a community health worker, you have to have all of these attributes. And this was like, how one of those PowerPoint slides that somebody put too much information, so the fonts are real small, because it was so much stuff. And I was just like, I agreed, but I was like, well, they don't even expect this from doctors. Like, I don't think they tell doctors they need to have this many attributes. So what I do like about the program is it is giving people kind of some guidance on how to show up, and what type of accountability and responsibility the community need for this holistic approach, right? Yep. So I enjoy seeing that written and practiced and put into literature. The program has, nutrition. It has intro to community health work and things like that, and then health work. Yeah, and the thing that we have different as cohort members is we have a art therapy course.
Arts and health promotion.
Yeah, so it helps people bridge arts into how to make it therapeutic in a setting, in a mental health center setting, right? Great. Yeah.
Yeah, so as of tomorrow, you all will be certified community health workers, which is great. Congratulations to both of you. Yeah. Well, sure, you get the pinning ceremony. That's what it's about, right?
Oh, okay, all right.
But then,
June is the last.
Yeah.
So
oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Like you said, you guys have been doing this work for years leading up to it. Now you just have the certification to kind of legitimize the work that you've been doing for years, right? And so I think congratulations to both of you and to the rest of the cohort. This was a really big piece for us as we were imagining this program, because how do we think about the workforce shortage issues that we're seeing in behavioral health as a result of the COVID pandemic? And how do we also think about holistic healing in this more holistic way, right? And so we really wanted to make this not just about, okay, we can sit down and do some art, but how do we also think about really long-term workforce development and making sure that there are employment opportunities also combined with this. And so you guys are in a very special cohort because you have this additional class about the arts and healing and the arts healing promotion, which I think is really kind of the crux of where you are at, of doing arts healing in mental health clinics and with people and thinking about mental health in a more expansive and broad way. And I have been really excited to partner with you both. I think the work you're doing is amazing. I love hearing about all the updates, and I can't wait to see what you're baking for us and what you're working on. And I hope that we'll be able to share all of that information soon. And if anyone does need any more mental health resources, you can go to mentalhealth.chicago.gov to navigate any mental health resources that you need, including resources at our 5 CDPH mental health clinics. You can learn more about the amazing work that Jewel and Shannon are doing and other artist cohorts at our other 4 clinics by Googling Healing Arts Chicago, and you'll see the calendar of events there. Learn about any restrictions, about different workshops that you might want to do at other sites. There's ceramics, there's poetry, there's movement, in addition to the amazing work that Jewel and Shannon talked about today. So please check it out. We will link all of these sites below so that you can learn more about them. And please, we hope to see you at one of our sessions soon. Thank you guys both so much.
Thank you for having us.
And that's our show. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to rate and subscribe wherever you find podcasts. I'm Dr. Bora, and we'll see you next time.